Hi, I'm Msgr Jamie, and welcome to a new episode of Breaking Bread, where we bring life's most important ingredients together: faith, family, friends, and of course, food. Today we have a special guest with us who's no stranger to breaking bread, Anthony Mangano, an award-winning actor, a singer, performer. But in 2021, he suffered a stroke that almost took his life. And we're gonna talk about the importance of having faith and giving you that hope to stay alive, but also the importance of a low-sodium diet. This can be an important show for you as well. Don't go away. We'll be right back with Anthony Mangano. Welcome back to Breaking Bread. We have with us today an award-winning actor and singer, Anthony Mangano.
Hi, I'm Anthony Mangano. I'm an actor. I most recently was in Green Book, which won the Academy Award for Best Picture and Best Screenplay. I've been on numerous amount of TV shows, most popular over the years was NYPD Blue, Person of Interest, Public Morals, and now I'm in a new series that I started acting again since my stroke called Gravesend. I've been in over 111 TV shows and movies. I've been in this business for about 40 years. I'm here on Msgr Jamie's show, Breaking Bread, to talk to people about the silent killer, blood pressure.
Anthony, welcome.
Hi, Msgr.
It's so good to see you. This is a special welcome back.
God, yeah.
Oh, God bless you.
Thank you.
I have to say, you look like $1 million. So different from the time I saw you in the hospital that second day.
Yeah.
I could not believe what happened to you.
It was very, very dramatic.
You look so much in shape. I mean, I remember meeting you 20 years ago. The first time I met you at Miracle in Heaven, you were running every day and used to stop into church to say a prayer. And that's how we really got to know each other. You worked out, you were in good shape, you watched what you ate. And then what happened?
It just came out of nowhere during the pandemic. We were eating a little more of everything and maybe having an extra glass of wine or whatever.
Right.
And just, I guess, stress and everything mounted up, and it just came out of, I was working out that morning and my wife was teaching, and I said, listen, something's wrong, like something popped. And I knew it wasn't a heart attack.
Right.
But I says, you better call an ambulance. It was a tough battle because I couldn't walk and I couldn't talk right. I couldn't use my arm, which I can. I still have some,
thank God,
some little things, but you never know, and I don't like to bring attention to it just because
Sure.
I'm talking now, but my whole lifestyle changed.
Right.
Especially like we're talking like with diet and all, everything has got to be a very low sodium diet,
Right. So this stroke was brought on because of sodium.
Sodium,
high intake of sodium.
Yeah, and high blood pressure, which was sodium,
Sure.
caffeine, and anything that could raise your levels. I have to have everything brought down. I can't, like make an example of it, like, let's say, hey, let's go to Burger King and get it. I can't do it. I can't have a hamburger. There's like 1,100 milligrams of sodium. You gotta make everything fresh. So I just gotta make it. But I look at it this way: I'm 60 now. Thank God I'm alive. I had 59 years to eat whatever I wanted.
Right.
So now I just gotta watch what I eat.
I
I'd rather do that and be alive.
I always joke to people. I say, all our lives we eat well. And then all of a sudden, we get to a certain age, we can't eat certain foods.
Yeah.
But I said, thank God we were able to enjoy them when we did.
God, yeah.
And when we were younger.
Believe me.
Sometimes you hear people that have a low sodium stroke, not enough sodium.
Yeah.
So, everybody's chemistry is different. Thing is, you have to keep up with your health. You have to, go to the doctor, have a regular routine checkup to know what's going on in your body. And it's funny, when there's something wrong with your body.
You do.
No matter what. Did you feel anything ahead of time?
Now that I look back on it, there might have been one or two times, not in a row, that I felt a little dizzy. I thought that could be anything.
Right.
But who knew?
You're running around all over the place. You're doing everything.
I'm like you. You're the hyper-energizer bunny. You go, and that might have been a sign. Like people looking at me like I'm walking in Marine Park, and I'm at a pretty good pace. I even run a little bit. And somebody goes to me, you had a stroke, when you hit it, you? And I went, yeah, I just happen to be blessed that, thank God, I got other plans for you. So the truth is, I do get a little fatigued at some point. Now I rest.
Right.
If I need a nap, I take a nap.
You prepare yourself.
I'll tell my wife, I'm going to lay down. That's what she knows, because you don't want to push it.
Sure, exactly. Well, thank God you made it through. And when something like that happens to someone your own age, you get a little nervous. I've had high blood pressure from a kid, it's hereditary. I take medication, and thank God it's been normal, but I watch my salt intake and I watch this, but a lot of times we cheat.
Yeah.
One, and a lot of times we think by not adding salt to something, that's enough. That's not true.
No.
All the processed food, all the prepared food, all the fast food is filled with sodium.
That's how it tastes so good, make it
right,
last.
exactly. So you gotta really try your best to eat fresh vegetables, fresh fruits. And meat, buy fresh meats. Don't get meat that's prepared or processed. And fast foods, yeah, we all love it. I love White Castle, that's my favorite fast food. But once in a while, we don't need it every day. And some people live on it.
That's what's scary is you see these kids going to McDonald's every day and Burger King every day, and you go, that's not good.
After your stroke, I started watching my salt intake as well. But today, in honor of you and everybody else out there that may have high blood pressure or has a sodium intake issue, we're gonna cook something today that's very low sodium. And we'll talk about how we can prepare this dish, but also other dishes, what we can do to cut the intake of sodium in our diet. So don't go away, and we'll talk to you about some issues that may affect your life and your health. We'll be back with Anthony Mangano. Welcome back to Breaking Bread, and today we have with us award-winning actor Anthony Mangano, our friend, but also today we're going to talk about the importance of having a low sodium diet. So Anthony, today I'm going to prepare a little chicken with sauteed vegetables. Very simple, all fresh vegetables. And what I did first, I grilled some chicken. Here, we'll take this out of the oven. I just had some chicken here. And what I did was I just threw a little olive oil on top, a little salt and pepper, and I grilled the chicken. That's just pepper on top. I like a lot of pepper, and the pepper compensates for the salt.
Yes.
That's a trick. When you put food out, and instead of putting salt and pepper on the table, what you do is you just put pepper and a little extra garlic and stuff, and that'll compensate for the salt intake. So I'm cutting up a couple of pieces of chicken here. I'm going to slice them up. And what I have here, I sliced up some fresh peppers, and of course I like to use the red, the green, and the yellow. They all taste the same, but for color and presentation, it always looks much nicer. And then I have some mushrooms here that I just sliced up, some portobello mushrooms, some sliced onions. I have some asparagus that I cut up. I just blanched the asparagus because sometimes they can be a little hard. Some cherry tomatoes, and I have also some onion and a little hot pepper, grated cheese. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pour some olive oil in the pan. And what I've been cooking a lot with lately, a couple of years ago I went to Piemonte and I went to the truffle festival, and I got hooked on truffle. So I always have a little truffle oil. I just put a couple of drops. A lot of times people don't like truffles because it's very overpowering, but I have to say the truffle oil really tastes delicious when you're cooking. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to throw in some onions. Okay, some onions. I have cut up here some zucchini. Now I'm going to put my chicken in last because the chicken is basically already cooked. Some mushrooms. Everything is in your preparation. The peppers, that's the whole key, is we called it in the culinary world mise en place. Everything is in place. And that's really half the time, I would say 3/4 of the time, is shopping and preparing all of your ingredients. So what I'm going to do is just going to have this simmer a little bit. I put some oil on the bottom so that everything doesn't stick. And I'm going to put a little bit more on top. Not the truffle oil, just the regular olive oil. Okay?
I'm watching because I'm learning. This is for me.
Throw in some tomatoes. Okay? Just throw everything, one-stop shopping. Let this all blend together. Throw in my asparagus. And I blanched the asparagus like I said before. Mix this in. And of course, you want to use different vegetables. You want to use string beans, artichokes, eggplant. What you do is just let that simmer for a while. And I'm going to throw some pepper on top. Like I said, I like to use a little hot pepper. Compensates for the salt.
I do all the time. This is good. So I know I'm on the right track.
While that's simmering, we're going to talk a little bit more about what have you been doing in your life, especially since you had the stroke and a new leaf on life. Do you see the world any differently now?
Yeah, I'll tell you, you value life so much when you come close to losing it.
Yeah.
And I look at my wife, my daughter, my brothers, my dad, nieces, nephews, and it's like, God, I almost didn't make it. I remember looking out my window by my hospital bed, and I was just admiring the sky and birds and the tree. Something you wouldn't have done before, but you do. You appreciate it so much. And you look at that, and then, you know, like I was very emotional because constantly crying and all that stuff.
Why me? How can this happen? Will my life ever be the same?
And that's what I'm afraid of, because I was afraid I couldn't walk right, I wasn't going to be able to talk. And then I worked very hard.
Yeah.
I had braces on my legs, and I worked every day. I would walk 50 feet, 100 feet. And my wife would only allow me to go down the corner and back. Then when she didn't know is that when I started feeling better, I was going around the corner. And then I started doing 2 blocks. And I said, no, I only want to. So I was pushing myself, and I rested until I knew the only way I'm going to get better is I got to keep going and keep moving and everything. And which I do to this day. I work out still, but a little differently. It's just to stay, just stay in shape.
Sure.
And that's basically what I do. And a person called me up, a friend of mine said, a big time actor dropped out of something, would you do the role? I didn't even want any money for it. I said, sure, it's my first gig. He goes, don't worry, you're just sitting down the majority of the time. And here I was, I couldn't have any caffeine. I got there at 7 o'clock at night. I was done at 5 in the morning. Everybody was drinking caffeine, and they were all falling asleep, and I'm sitting there going, the guy that had the stroke, I got more energy than all of them. I didn't understand it. I was like, okay, I can do this.
Yeah.
I slept all day, but I was good.
But isn't that amazing when you start cutting out certain foods in your life? Certain salt, certain carbs, certain, even drinking, you know? I'm sure you had to stop drinking. I mean, not that you were a drinker, but, a glass of wine, a cocktail once in a while.
Which now allows me to have, the neurologist said I'm allowed to have 1, maybe 1.5, 2, but
right.
I don't abuse it.
Exactly.
And the thing I noticed is that when I was drinking wine, it goes down a lot smoother. Now, don't get me wrong, but if you have like scotch or bourbon, you sip. So it's a little different.
Exactly.
So,
When tragic things have happened and, people that I counsel and talk to, and they tell you, things that used to get you upset don't get you upset anymore because you put everything in perspective. The things that we take for granted, getting up in the morning, that's a gift from God. Yeah. And we got to be thankful for that. And many times we get upset over the other things because we take all these things for granted. And when that is taken from you, then you see life in a very different way.
I thank Him when I get up. I thank Him during the day. I thank Him at the end of the night. Before I go to bed to say my prayers, every day. And I say to everybody, if it wasn't for God, I wouldn't be here.
Right.
And they're all going, oh, no, you worked out. I said, no, that's a bunch of baloney.
Right.
I had God on my side.
Yeah.
Because I know because I saw other people that had it.
I'm just going to add a little bit of garlic now on top of here. Throw in my garlic. I like to use fresh garlic. That's the other thing. Anything you use, try to use fresh. Anything in a jar, any powder, especially like the garlic powders and all the powders, condiments, they have salt in there. All right, so sodium. You have to watch that. We're going to take a break right now, and when we get back, we're going to try this low-sodium dish that I prepared for Anthony. We're going to talk about some other low-sodium recipes that you may try at home, and also Anthony's going to tell us about some other events going on in his life. Welcome back to Breaking Bread with Anthony Mangano and our low-sodium recipe here. Chicken and fresh vegetables, but any recipe you make, when you use fresh vegetables, fresh food, food that's not processed, it's low sodium. That's the key. So I added the chicken on here. We have all our fresh vegetables in here. All I have on here is some pepper. We have hot pepper, black pepper, a little truffle oil, olive oil, and just the flavors of the fresh vegetable really makes this dish, so popular. And the grilled chicken. So let's just mix this around. And in a few minutes, we'll be able to taste this. And it smells good, doesn't it?
It smells great.
So tell me, Anthony,
Yeah.
how has your faith affected the work since that you had the stroke? I know it was very important to you before the stroke, but what about now? How are you bringing your near-death experience into your work?
I try to talk to people as much as I can, because most people don't know. When, like we were saying, when they look at me, they would never believe I had a stroke. But when it comes up, and first thing I say to them, please check your blood pressure. Constantly check it. And, try going back to church. I thank God for forgiving me for my sins, because I'm here for some reason. Yeah. And I'm grateful that I'm alive and I'm here to talk to you.
Well, he didn't want you.
He probably wanted me to go to the other team. But I thank him every day. I'm just so grateful about it. And that's why I try to tell everybody, and I talk to anybody that'll listen to me, and I'll just say, please, just check your blood pressure, you check your cholesterol. These are important issues that you have to do, and watching your diet and stuff. And I do all that, but I also say power of prayer, because I know, oh no, it's because you work out. I go, no. It helps, but it was the power of prayer. And I am so grateful that I'm alive. And that's the thing, I count my blessings every day.
That's great. And they say that people who have faith make a quicker recovery. Faith.
Oh God, I believe
because I believe they turn their whole illness and they just let go of it and they leave it in God's hands. Mm-hmm. A lot of people, they struggle, they get angry, and they fight it rather than just leaving it in the hands of God. Being at peace with that and know that God will take care of them, whichever the end result is going to be. Yeah. They heal much quicker than people that don't have faith.
No, I agree.
And I think and you as a person of faith, I think really sees that. Now let's
I'm looking forward to
taste.
this.
All I can say to you is keep up the low sodium diet, okay?
You know what my neurologist said? He goes, if all my patients would follow the way you do things, my job would be easier. I don't ever want to go through that again.
Right.
So yeah, I'm going to follow it.
Okay. So like I said, this is a very simple dish. Whatever vegetables you want to mix together. And you look at how colorful this is. That's why I like to always use vegetables with different colors. It makes a great presentation.
That looks great.
And it's a nice dish you can prepare ahead of time when you're having people over. And I always like to put a little parsley on top just for decoration. Presentation. All right. Let's taste this. Yes. Bless us, O Lord, and we thank you for this food that you give to us. Want a little salt?
No. No. Oh, wow.
A little kick to it, a little spice, and the truffle oil. You don't need salt.
You don't.
That's all healthy.
You don't. It's actually, oh my God, this is so good.
Anthony, I want to wish you luck.
Oh, thank you
with
so much.
In the future, whatever you're doing. I know you do a lot of work with us at the diocese.
Oh, sure.
At the Emmaus Center, you'll be performing, and we look forward to working with you for many, many years. You've been a great asset.
Love
you guys.
I love you.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you. We're praying for you.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of Breaking Bread, when we tried to bring together faith, family, friends, and of course food, spiritual food, the Eucharist. When we receive the Eucharist, we're receiving the body and blood of Christ. We become the temples of Christ, the temples of the Holy Spirit, and we're able to share that faith that we have within us, that nourishes us, that strengthens us, is the source and summit of our lives. We can then live out our lives as good human beings, helping other people. So let us never forget that. Hope to see you next time on Breaking Bread.